Welcome everybody to the final day of the 2020 preseason testing here at Sakir and well for the 2020 season really before the start of the new season. For the third day in a row you're hearing my voice. It is JW97 and I'm joined by the man who I was on commentary with on day 2. It is Dennis Graff. How are you doing?
Hello, good evening. I'm doing great. How about you, Joe?
Yeah, definitely doing well indeed. Well, as you can see for day 4, what a surprise. It is a very dry day here in Sakir. Who would have thought it? Well, day 4 is a very special one because, of course, we have the test drivers in action and we'll be seeing them on the track quite soon, in fact. So we're all getting set to go here for the final day of preseason testing. So I think without further ado, let's get on with it. So, obviously, if you didn't see what happened yesterday on day 3, we had our third different driver topping the timing sheets in the form of Roberto Gamba in the Red Bull. But I think the biggest surprise, you'd have to say, Dennis, out of yesterday was Racing Point, specifically Roland Motrin.
Yeah, indeed. Very great pace from him yesterday here. Yeah, let's see what he can show today because he will be in the car today.
Yeah, indeed. And we're on the track now and we have all the test drivers in action. So the test drivers you'll see, for Mercedes, we have Rifki Fakhrizadeh. For Ferrari, we have Bartosz Kloss. For Red Bull, we have Lorenzo Tomaselli. For McLaren, we have Hento Sinonome. For Alfa Romeo, we have Bent Faldinger. We have for Alpha Tauri, Ruslan Proxiuk. Renault, Jesus Perinen, the 2019 BTCC champion. Racing Point, we have Lean Campana. Haas, we have Jared Fosbury. Then over at Williams, we have Joseph Frederick Suto. And then at Manor, we have the man who we can see on the screen right now, Maxim Titkov, who, of course, obviously was dropped at the end of the season by Manor, but he's still with the team, albeit on a test roll basis. But he's going to be the first onto the racetrack as he makes his way down towards turn 4 on the racetrack. So through turn 4 he goes. And anyway, as just a note, of course, Roberto Gamba, meanwhile, who is going to be out on the track because he did beat Loa Chung in the team battle, he still has the tribute helmet because it seems that Yuri may have messed up the files a little bit. So, yeah, that's that really. So he should get his correct helmet for the Australian Grand Prix, as long as I remind him, of course. But anyway, we're now on the track. We're now looking at Lean Campana, of course. New life for him after being booted out of Williams. He's going to be in as the Racing Point test driver this season. He'll be competing in DTM and he'll be looking to see if he can get back in the top class for the season. Here's another test driver, Ruslan Proxiuk. Only just missed out on an AlphaTauri seat for this season after finishing what was 5th in the GP2 Championship. But he'll be looking determined to try and see if he can try and challenge for the GP2 title this season and hope to try and get in the top class for next season. So he's out on the track, the Russian, who makes his way down towards the hairpin. So out of the turn he will go now then. And yes, the season starts next week, Jafari, in Australia. So look out for that. Through the double left-hander we go. And Proxy making his way down the straight. There's also been a little tweak on the Mercedes as well. And we know this because Yuri was doing this right at the last minute. But Armor Car has a personal sponsor on the Mercedes. On both Mercedes, I should say. Because kind of different to how we're going to do it now. And he has the Liverpool FC logo on there. So look out for that one. We're on board with Maxim Titkov in the Manor. As he makes his way up towards turn 4, he's going to be the first to set a time on the board, swooping around the long right-hander. Now, just coming out today, of course, as well, we are obviously trialling something when it comes to the sign-ups, of course. The entrance series, of course, we're trialling to see if we can actually have a backup sign-up system on Twitter, of course, because, as we know, for the last few years, YouTube is a little bit glitchy when it comes to its YouTube comment section, and so we feel like having a Twitter sign-up as well as a backup to ensure that comments don't get removed, we hope could be a good one as well. I think we are obviously trialing some other things and some different ideas as well, so it's not a full what was I going to say? It's not the full shebang. This is not a full thing. It's just a real trial here to see if it could be something that we could use for the 2021 sign-ups. But again, if you haven't applied for the entrance series and you haven't got a seat in any of the 5 tiers, do sign up, of course. Because we've got a few who have came up since we did a little bit more advertisement on the series, but still not at the number needed to start the season. So that's that really. So we now ride on board with Maxim Titkov. He makes his way down towards the final corner in the Manor. Into the final turn goes the Russian. He'll be determined to have a good year in DTM and hope to get back in the top class for 2021 with whatever team, we're not sure. It will definitely not be Manor, of course, because Manor won't be in the top class next season. But Titkov now then coming across the line, and he does a 1 minute 31.622. Here is Lorenzo Tomaselli, the new Red Bull test driver, who's having trouble trying to pass one of the Alfa Romeos, and that looks like Bence Faldinger is trying to get past, because Faldinger is in place of Gabriel Gomez in this test. A few more lap times coming up. Campana in the Racing Point goes to the top with a 1 minute 29.973, 2 temps clear of the McLaren test driver, Hento Sinanome, and it looks like Yuri has actually spelt his name correctly for once, because I know they had trouble spelling that in the Indy 500. But there we are. As Motrin goes 4th position, Kloss goes into 5th in the Ferrari, Griffiths 11th. Then we have Perinen, who goes into 4th for Renault, make that 5th because Carr has now gone to the top of the timing sheets with a 1 minute 29.605. Protsu goes into 12th. Franco Gamba goes into... In fact, I don't even know which Gamba that is, because I'm pretty sure both of them are meant to be out on the track, and I've realised why. Because Yuri's put the wrong Ferrari driver in.
Perkele.
Supposed to be Roberto Gamba, not Laura Chong. It says CHU.
Yep.
Didn't change.
Red flag.
So yeah, what happened here is that I put Kloss in the file for the which changes the helmet, but I put it in the wrong Ferrari in the performance file.
Oops.
Ullos.
Okay, so we will restart the testing with 42 minutes remaining in the clock.
Right, so do those lap times count or not then, Yuri?
If we remember them.
Right.
So
that
not.
could mean anything. So no then. Not count them then.
Right.
Going to put this on. We need a technical issues screen. Okay.
Has anybody got that memed technical issue screen?
Yeah, I could use it. Where is the file? There we go. Yeah, this was a complete brain fart in my case. What was Roberto Gamba's number?
63.
63.
Yeah, we're not going to look at those lap times, Dennis. It's just going to be a complete refresh.
It's like in the concept series.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm restarting the game.
Yep. So we should have the correct Ferrari driver in there instead of Laura Chung. It's meant to be Roberto Gamba who's meant to be in the Ferrari, not Laura Chung, because Roberto won the teammate battle over the last 3 days, winning 2-1. So it'll be a 42-minute session, guys. So we're trimming the 3 minutes off, but the lap times are being refreshed. So the lap times that you saw earlier on will not count. So the ones that you see on the board a little bit later on, they will be the ones that count. So just point that out as we wait for a stream to come up on our end. So bear with us, guys, and we'll be back for day 4 in just a little bit.
Yeah, it's here.
Here we go. There we go. And the weather, of course, the same. No real surprises there. So let's take 2, shall we? Will we get a 4th different driver topping the session? That will be the question, of course. Will the Racing Points provide another surprise? Will one of the test drivers top the session? We will wait and see, as we are currently on the loading screen and getting ready to start take 2 really of day 4.
Here we go.
As we're in the garage, and they are in the right place this time. There you go. No problems there whatsoever. So as we go through the names here is Titkov, who is in the garage, and we'll be waiting for him to go out onto the track, as the Racing Point is now going out onto the track himself, and that is Roland Motrin, who is going out onto the track, the star of what was day 3 yesterday, where he was able to get his Racing Point into 2nd place. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep that up in today's session, especially when he's got a different teammate for today in Lean Campana. Roberto Martinez also coming out on the track for Mana. Makes his way through turns 2 and 3 on the track. So up towards turn 4, then we'll go Martinez. As through the right-hander then goes Martinez out of the corner, using as much of the tarmac on the left-hand side as possible before making his way towards the left and right-hander. And he's joined the track by several others who will be coming out to the track. All 22 cars, I think, should be coming out. Here is Rivki Fakrasane, once again, is the Mercedes test driver. And for the 2nd season in a row, the Indonesian gets the chance to be part of the team. As he's once again competing in DTM and hoping to actually try and win the title this season if he can. As we know, his target is to try and win a title in every tier, is what he said a couple of seasons ago. As Fakrasane makes his way through S's with 40 minutes to go. Of course, remember, if you've just tuned in, don't think that Yuri has made a mistake. We had a little bit of a typo error on Yuri's end. He put the wrong Ferrari driver in instead of he was supposed to put Roberto Gamba in the Ferrari. Instead, it was Loa Chung who was in the car. So that's been corrected now. So don't worry. We've reduced the time due to, well, timing reasons really. As here is Bent Faldinger making his way through the S's, the Alfa Romeo test driver. Of course, the previous Alfa Romeo test driver was ironically his teammate in GP2 from last season, Aaron Curtis. Those two will not be teammates though, because Bent is staying at Prema for GP2, whereas Aaron Curtis is moving over to Trident to partner alongside Joel Watterson. So something interesting to watch there for GP2. Here's Motrin then through turns 2 and 3 he goes now then, before heading his way towards turn 4. As towards turn 4 now then, we'll go the Hungarian, flicking the car in through the right-hander. Of course, back in 2004, that corner used to be a little bit more sharper before they reprofiled it from 2005. 26.791 is the first sector time for the Hungarian as he makes his way down towards the hairpin. Out of the hairpin he now goes, as he'll now make his way up towards the double left-hander. Very easy to lock up and understeer through into there. The characteristic of this corner is very, very tricky to get right indeed. Heading down the support pitch straight before making his way down towards the first corner of the support pitch straight, if we were, of course, using the inner layout of this track, but the inner layout is not being used because, well, we're using the Grand Prix layout, and of course the inner layout is not available on Grand Prix 4, unlike the outer and endurance layouts. So that's that. Through into the second to last corner goes Motrin, as he'll now make his way down the hill towards the final corner. Let's see what Motrin can do then on this lap. Into the final turn goes the Hungarian, flicking it in as he makes his way down the straight for crossing the line now then. Let's see what the benchmarker time is going to be this time. Roland Motrin is going to cross the line, and it is a 1 minute 30.934, so not the best of times that we've seen from so far. Martinez goes 9 tenths slower to go into second position, as Jamie Griffiths has a little bit of a wobble on the steering wheel going through the left hand there. Proxy goes quicker by 6 tenths of a second. He does a 1 minute 30.252. And Fraser, meanwhile, goes into third. That becomes fourth because Lorenzo Tomaselli has gone to the top in the Red Bull with a 1 minute 29.793. Fakrasane now goes to the top by a further 2 tenths, a 1 minute 29.527. Q-Pot goes into third in the AlphaTauri as Jamie Griffiths is being overtaken by the other Mercedes, that being Marquez. Rosetta Martinez pulls off.
Problem,
Mechanical failure, and it's a suspension failure for Rosetta Martinez. As meanwhile, Synonym and Carr set an identical time to each other. Synonym in front because he set the time first, but setbacks already for Mana, you have to say, Dennis, on day 4.
Yeah, of course. It's not good to have problems on the final day of testing. Yeah, they already had a problem in day 1 with Emil Wilson with a loose wheel. But yeah, always bad to have a mechanical failure.
Indeed, let's see where he had the problem. It looks like just there, look, you
Yeah.
just see the front left popping up on the left-hand side of his car there, and it just happened just as he was coming out of the exit of turn 3. So a setback there, clear the bumps, not suiting the manner very well, and it's shown with the suspension failure that the Filipino has had. So he's going to have to make a trek back to the pits for the spare car, as everybody else has done a lap time. And so far, Fakrazine at the top with Tomaselli in second, Kupok in third, Protsiuk in fourth. Then it's Franco Gamba in fifth with Campana in sixth, Sinanome in seventh, Carr in eighth, Roberto Gamba in ninth, and then it's Miklos Gal in 10th, followed by Bartosz Klos in 11th. Joseph Willows in 12th, Roland Motrin in 13th, then it is Joseph Frederick Suto in 14th position. For some reason, it's Frederick Suto is his last name rather than just Suto. So 14th for Joseph Frederick Suto, then it's Titkov in 15th, Perinen in 16th, Federi 17th, Fraser 18th, Martinez 19th, Faldinger 20th, Griffiths 21st, and Fosbury in 22nd. Somebody else just did an improvement just a little bit early on. As I say that, Proxy goes up to 4th, so he gets behind his teammate Kupok, so 3rd and 4th at the moment for the two AlphaTauri drivers. A good start for them at the moment on day 4. It's Fakrazane and Martinez. Well, of course, Martinez is in the pits because he pulled off, but Fakrazane is also in the pits now then, as he's currently 2 tenths clear of Lorenzo Tomaselli, as Motrin now makes his way down towards the hairpin. His teammate Campana currently up in 6th. Franco Gamba improves a little bit more. So does Hento Sinanome to go into 5th and 6th respectively, pushing Campana down to the 7th. Made that 8th because Carr has gone up into 3rd place in the Mercedes. So up into P3 he goes, as Roberto Gamba is getting held up by one of the Hasses. That looks like Jared Fosbury is getting held up by, as he just gets past him through there. Federi and Titkov were able to improve on their laps as we ride on board with Roland Motrin, who doesn't appear to be on an improvement. Willows, meanwhile, goes up into 8th, just behind his test driver teammate, Hento Sinanome, as now Motrin comes out of the second to last turn before making his way down towards the final corner. As Martinez now then is back out onto the track in the spare manner, so he's been able to get in that car pretty quickly. And he's going to basically try again to see if he can get a better lap in instead, because we saw that Titkov is able to improve, and it'll be interesting to see if Martinez is able to improve, especially on a fresh set of tyres, and of course the spare car as well. Currently bringing up the rear is Faldinger and Fosbury, and so they'll be looking to improve. Fosbury 3.2 seconds off of Fakrazane. I'm not sure if it was because of Roberto Gamba who was having trouble with there, but that's that really. As meantime, Tomaselli improves but remains in second position. Still in front of the car at the moment as Ricky Fakrazane goes out onto the track. But so far, at the moment, Dennis, some interesting lap times so far, especially from the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, great early pace from AlphaTauri, but it's still very early. Yeah, let's see what happens in the next 35 minutes minus 12 seconds.
Indeed, as Fakrazane makes his way through the S's now, then flicking it in through the right and then into the left-hander before heading down towards the hairpin. Griffiths improves to get in front of Martinez to get up into 19th position as we look at Roland Motrin, who looks like he's just doing some long ones at the moment. We might see a faster lap time from him later on down the line in this section. Federi gets into 14th position. Here comes Jake Galloway. He's trying to pass his test driver teammate Jesus Perinen. These two were meant to race each other in GP2 before Jake Galloway got the late call up to Renault. But Perinen, of course, will make his GP2 debut this season with Uni Virtuosi Racing, partnering alongside Rahul Patel. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on in GP2. As Fosbury improves, but he's still over 3 seconds behind Ricky Fakrazane at this point in time. As Roland Motrin now that... Yeah, indeed, is now heading out of the final turn. We'll go Roland Motrin. Heading down the pit straight, and let's see what the Hungarian can do. It looks like it's not going to be an improvement. Let's see what the lap time is going to be. Nonetheless, a 1:31.049 in this session. As Motrin makes his way down towards the hairpin through turns 1 and then into turn 2 and 3 on the track. And out of the pit lane now then, here is Ruslan Protsiuk, currently in 5th position. Now, I will mention something. I believe Yuri won't mind me saying this because he mentioned this to me and Dennis before the stream started, but around about next week you should expect the Indy 500 sign-ups to be open for the 4th annual race for the OT, and it should so expect that to come out around about Thursday, Yuri has told us. So next week expect the Indy 500 sign-ups to open, so be on the lookout for that. Of course, it's open to people who are in any of the 5 tiers, of course, so, and of course to former drivers as well. Not really sure about JP Kirby's stashes. I'm going to presume he's not going to be allowed in it because of his suspension. But okay, I just want to clarity there. So JP, you can't enter the Indy 500 because of your suspension, but you will be allowed next season when the suspension obviously comes to an end. As here comes Roland Motrin then coming out the second to last turn. He's going to be making his way back into the pits, and he'll be making his way into the final corner. Hello, Hento. How are you doing? See you here. Currently, you are lying in 7th ahead of, well, me, in fact, your teammate for today. As so now we look at Lorenzo Tomaselli, who I've noticed across every different tier, he likes to, well, the tiers that allowed him to choose his helmet, he always liked to change it up a bit between the 2006 and 2007 Fernando Alonso helmets. For this season, he's gone with the 2007 Fernando Alonso helmet. So, interesting there. I wonder if next year we'll be reverting back to 2006. I wonder if he likes to vary it between the two, but we will see. As we now look at Amar Khan, who just comes out of turn 4, currently in third position. Let's see if he's going to be able to make some inroads on his test driver teammate Rifki Fakhrizadeh. But at the moment, Fakhrizadeh looking to be the 4th different driver to top the testing session in 2020, which I don't think has happened for a while in the OC. I'm trying to think the last time that actually happened in the OC when 4 different drivers topped the session. I don't think it was 2013. It definitely wasn't 2014 or 15. Let's see. Has it actually ever happened? Let's have a look. 2012. Was there 4 different drivers who topped it in 2012? Yes, there was. So I think the last time it happened was in 2012 that 4 different drivers topped the testing sessions. And so far, if he can keep it up, Rifki Fakhrizadeh could be the 4th person to do it for this season. Martinez, meanwhile, gets up to 18th in the spare manner after his suspension failure that he had a little bit earlier on in the session. Lorenzo Tomaselli comes up towards the second sector, only 700ths off his personal best, so he could still possibly claw that back in the last sector, and he might have a little bit of slipstream in front. Maybe not a lot, but maybe the tiniest bit of slipstream from the Mercedes in front. That Mercedes looking like, I believe, Rifki Fakhrizadeh, the man who currently tops the timing sheets at the moment. Heading down the pit straight then goes the Italian, as Lorenzo Tomaselli comes across the line. Can he improve? And no, he can't. He was able to gain a bit of time in the last sector, but not enough to improve. 300ths off his personal best. In the end, there was Lorenzo Tomaselli, and he's coming back into the pits this lap then, as he comes out of turn 3. We ride on board with Jake Galloway, as he makes his way through the flat-out right-hander before heading towards the second to last corner. 800ths off his personal best in the second sector, so he could turn it around, but he might not do. I'll have to wait and see. It might be a similar situation to what we just saw with Lorenzo Tomaselli a little bit earlier on. Hello, David. David Cupot, that is, in the chat. Coming out the final turn goes Galloway, as he now makes his way down the straight now then, and Galloway is going to cross the line. And where is Galloway going to be able to improve? And the answer to that is no. I don't think so. He remains in 9th position. As Tomaselli, we're just fearing now he's coming back into the pits. This lap, Franco Gamba, meanwhile, where is he? He's currently 6th for the moment behind the 2 Alpha Tauri, so maybe more improvement to come yet from the Italian, the man who topped the session yesterday. In fact, both drivers are both. What was I going to say? Both drivers are Italian today in the Red Bull, so a bit of an interesting fact there then. As meantime, Amar Khan goes to the top of the timing sheets by nearly 0.2 of a second to make it a Mercedes 1-2. So it might not look like we're going to have 4 different drivers at the moment topping the session, as Amar Khan now goes to the top. And I do have to question: is that a custom helmet for Daniel Friese, or is that a messed up helmet? Because he did have the Vettel helmet for the last few days. Is that a new helmet that Daniel's got recently or not? Right, so a messed up helmet then for Daniel Friese. So anyway, now then we now look at Jamie Griffiths, who comes across the line. Is he able to improve? He does. He goes up to 13 at this point in time as he makes his way down towards turn 1. So here is Franco Gamba making his way into turn 1 as well, and that's also a messed up helmet as well for Franco Gamba. Needs addressing. So quite a few messed up helmets here during this testing session. So that's that really. As here is Jake Galloway. His is fine. Fraser's, I think that's fine because it was button. His is fine, Roberto's. Jared's is fine. Andrea's is fine. Armor's is fine. Rifki's fine. David's fine. And
So
those
only
two
few.
are fine. Only the odd few that have got messed up helmets, that being Gamba and Fraser. It's just the two of them. There's a little bit of contact, I think, that just happened there between the Manor and Roberto Gamba there, and there was.
Yeah,
Roberto
that's
tagging the back
correct.
of Maxim Titkov there, so a little bit of contact between the two into the first corner there, and it looked like I don't know what Roberto was thinking there, to be honest with you, Dennis.
I don't know. I thought he would see. He thought he would see a gap, but it wasn't there. Of course, I think it was the first contact of the season.
Indeed,
But I'm not sure.
I think we've. I don't think we had any contact at Barcelona or even yesterday, so I think you are right there. I think it is the first bit of contact. Here's Joseph Willows. My helmet looks fine, Yuri, so no problems with my helmet there, as it is meant to be a cross between two different helmets. So my helmet looks fine. As Willows comes out of turn 4, was able to show a little bit of pace yesterday. Looked like the McLaren had turned it up from yesterday compared to the disappointment that they showed in Barcelona. Currently lying 7th and 8th at the moment of the two McLarens. We'll have to wait and see if Willows is probably hiding a little bit more as he will start his next flying lap. We're on board with Jamie Griffiths. Through into the first turn he goes. Through turns 1, 2, and then into 3 will go Griffiths. Now Griffiths makes his way up towards turn 4 on the track. As we look at Franco Gamba with the messed up helmet as he's trying to get by on, I believe this is Roland Motrin he's trying to get by. It is, because it's the number 9 car. And so that's that. Gamba coming out of the turn. Here is Maxim Titkov still getting hounded by the Ferrari of Roberto Gamba, but he won't have to anymore because Gamba goes into the pits. Fraser improves but remains in 21st. So both Haas's currently filled in the back 2 places at the moment in 21st and 22nd position. Frosby's still over 3 seconds behind the top driver, that being Armar Carr, 3.2 seconds to be exact. He's actually 1.2 off of Daniel Fraser at this point in time. So maybe some room for improvement, or he's just struggling in that car. Here is Griffiths making his way into the left-hander now then. He will now come up towards the flat-out right-hander on the track. Kicking the car in. He now makes his way through the second-to-last corner. He makes his way down the straight before heading towards the final corner. It doesn't look like the Welshman is going to improve, but you never know, of course, as Davy Kupot comes out on the track just behind his teammate Ruslan Proxiuk. So he just comes out on the track casually there as Kupot makes his way towards turn 4. Kicking it in through the right-hander. And he'll soon be approaching the S's very, very soon. As Perinin currently down in 19th position in the Renault. His teammate Galloway currently up in 9th position. He's got the Gal prefix for today because, of course, Mikolas Gal is not in the Red Bull today. It's instead Lorenzo Tomaselli because Franco Gamba won the teammate battle against Mikolas Gal to be in the car for day 4. As Jamie Griffiths has just come out of turn 4 before approaching the end of sector 1. And he's 4 tenths down in the first sector there. Flicking it in through the left-hander before heading towards hairpin. And so through the hairpin he goes. Hello, Joseph Frederick Suto. Nice to see you in the chat. You're currently 16th at the moment. Your prefix is FSU. So that's that. As now here is Roberto Gamba coming through the left and right-hander. And he's just come out of the pits after going back in after being held up by the Manor a little bit earlier on, which he had a little bit of contact with. Currently in 11th position. In fact, the two Ferraris not having the best of days at the moment, being 11th and 12th. Bartosz Kloss, who's in the other Ferrari, only 12th at the moment, 300 off his teammate Roberto Gamba. So who knows, maybe there could be more time for the Ferrari, or maybe they could just be struggling. We'll have to wait and see. As here is Jamie Griffiths now then, coming up towards the final corner as the two racing points are close together, heading into the final turn. Here is Joseph Frederick Suto, who, of course, finished runner-up last season in Formula E, and he's coming back into the pits this lap. And he'll be making his debut in GP2 this season with Chiru, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. Lorenzo Tomaselli is now back out onto the track as Roland Motrin, meanwhile, gets up into 10th position ahead of Lincoln Parner. So Racing Point not having the best of days so far in testing, being 10th and 11th so far. As Lorenzo flicks it in through the right-hander. And now flicking it in through The S's will go the Italian. He'll soon be starting his next flying lap very, very soon. A few cars currently in the pits at the moment. Car, Facrezane, well, made that 4 now because Facrezane's just come out on the track. Car, Franco Gamba, Campana, and Federico Suto are in the pits. So meantime, Jesus Perinin improves to go up into 15th position. Moves up a few places from where he was earlier, which was 19th. As Facrezane now then heads towards right-hander. Using a little bit of curb there, as he'll soon be preparing for his next flying lap to see if he can get back in front of teammate Amar Kar. Yeses goes the Indonesian, as he'll make his way down towards the hairpin. Here is Jamie Griffiths right on board with him, and currently he's up on his personal best. Looking at the def panel, let's see if he can keep that up in the middle sector, flat through the right-hander. And let's see what his middle sector is like. And he's lost time, in fact. He's down on his personal best by 10. He's lost a bit of time in that middle sector, so it doesn't look like the Welshman is going to improve. But let's wait and see as he makes his way down towards the final corner. As he flicks it in there, just missing the curb on the inside. As the Welshman makes his way down the pit straight and across the line, he will now go. And let's see what Griffiths can do. Across the line goes the Welshman, and I don't think he's going to improve. As we look at Amar Kar, who's just come out onto the track, just in front of Lorenzo Tomaselli, because Franco Gamba is still in the pits at this point in time. Tomaselli just starting the lap. Luckily, doesn't look like he's going to get held up by the Mercedes, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for the Italian. As we currently view Amar Kar right now, flicking it in through the turn. As you can see the Liverpool logo now on the front wing of the Mercedes, replacing the Tommy Hilfiger. So that's that. Through the S's then goes Jamie Griffiths, with just over 22 minutes to go, as Franco Gamba comes out on the track, just side by side, in fact, with Riffy Facrezane. So that was a little bit tight there, but that's that. And if he's not careful, it looks like Franco could get held up here. And but so far, it's been a pretty good session so far, you have to say, for both Facrezane and Tomaselli, Dennis.
Yeah, good session so far for both only 2 test drivers. It seems like they're not struggling with the car, which is good. And yeah, still 20 minutes to go, so maybe they could attempt to go to the top spot again.
Indeed, as we now look at Jamie Griffiths returning back into the pits. His lap currently in 14th position, so far having a good session is the Welshman, who at long last will be making his top class debut this season, as Griffiths makes his way out of the final turn. He will soon head off back into the pit, so into the pit lane he now goes. As Fosby, meanwhile, improves. He's now under 3 seconds behind Amar Kar, but he's still 9 tenths off of teammate Daniel Fraser. Synonym tries to find a way past on Bent's Faldinger, but Synonym's coming back into the pit, so there's not going to be much point in doing that. As into the pits comes the Japanese driver. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's the first actual Japanese driver to compete in a top class session, because previous Japanese drivers we've had were real life drivers, of course. Sato, Yamamoto, those 2 drivers, they were in there in the first ever season of the OC when we needed the numbers filling up. But in terms of people who are not in real life Formula 1, he's the first Japanese driver to take part in a session in the top class, which is good to see. Roberto Gamba, meanwhile, has just improved to get himself into the top 10. He's put both racing points now outside of the top 10. As speaking of racing points, we're viewing Roland Motrin, so maybe we'll see an improvement from him very, very soon, as he's gone back out onto the track. So through the S's he goes, as he will now make his way down towards the hairpin. On the turn he goes, using all the curb on the exit there, before heading down towards the double left-hander. As I just flipped my my desk lamp on. As Fosby, a big lock-up for him there, getting a little bit sideways, as Amar Kar, meanwhile, has improved by a further 2 tenths. He's on 1 minute 29.1, and you could see there, locking up both there, but very lucky to correct it, Dennis.
Yeah, very lucky to not go off here, although there's a lot of runoff. But yeah, good that he is still on the track and not off the track.
Indeed, as I was mentioning, Kar improves on his time to go on a 1 minute 29.187, so Fosbury yet again over 3 seconds behind Amar Kar thanks to that improvement, and given that mistake, he's not going to be able to improve on this lap either, as one of the Williamses now comes out onto the track. That will be Jamie Griffiths, who's just come back out. Uto is still in the pits at this point in time. That's coming out of turn 3 now. Then goes Griffiths as he'll make his way up towards turn 4. And so through into turn 4 then goes Griffiths, using the curb on the inside, and he'll be hoping not to get held up by Fosbury in front of him, who obviously made that mistake just a little bit earlier on that we just viewed there. Just over 19 minutes to go in this session, so this is what the leaderboard currently looks like. It's Carr at the top with Fakwazine in second, Tomaselli in third, with Kupok in fourth, Protsiuk in fifth, then it's Franco Gamba in sixth, with Sinanome in seventh, Willows in eighth, Galloway in ninth, Roberto Gamba in 10th, Motrin 11th, Campana 12th, Kloss 13th, Griffiths 14th, Perinin 15th, then it's Videri 16th, Suto in 17th, Titkov 18th, Faldinger 19th, and then it is Martinez in 20th, Fraser in 21st, and Fosbury in 22nd and last. That's how day 4 currently looks at the moment, as we have just under 19 minutes to go in the session. Is out on the track now. Then goes Jose Federic Suto in the other Williams, and he currently lies 17th, as we just mentioned a little bit earlier on. The Slovakian driver making his way in towards turn 4. The man, of course, who finished runner-up in Formula E last season and making his debut in GP2 this season with Charouz. So it'll be interesting to see how Joseph gets on at that team alongside Kyle Burns, as now Suto makes his way through the hairpin, the car in, using a lot of the curb on the outside before making his way into the double left-hander. And as a result of him being in GP2, of course, and being a test driver, he will have a Williams livery to go with on his GP2 car. Fosbury and Prix, so now it's under 3 seconds between the whole pack again. Also getting a test driver livery, of course, will be Bence Faldinger, as will Ruslan Proksiuk, and as will Hento Sinanome, as well as will Jesus Perinin. So 5 of the test drivers here getting special liveries for their upcoming GP2 season. So be on the lookout. Did you mention
Lorenzo Tomaselli?
No, I didn't. In fact, Lorenzo will actually get a Red Bull livery as well. So in fact, 6. In fact, as Motrin improves to get into the top 10, he gets up into 7th position, exactly a 10th behind Franco Gamba. So up into 7th place goes Roland Motrin. Now Videri makes his way down the support pit straight before heading towards the left-hander. Through the left-hander goes the Italian, as he'll now make his way through the flat-out right-hander on the F1 games. And I'm not sure if it's like it in real life. If you clip that curb, it's very easy to spin, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same for these drivers as well. I'm not sure if Motrin just made a little error there, or that was just my eyes playing up, but he's just come out of the S's there. To me, looking a little bit squirrely, but I could be wrong on that part. Might be just by my eyes playing up with me there, or deceiving me. Coming out of the double left-hander, he went there. His teammate Lin Campana is in front of him. Campana currently in 12th position. As we now look at Bartosz Kloss in the Ferrari, as he flicks it through the left and right-hander. And currently 1.4 seconds off of Armar Car. And the Ferrari's only 11th and 13th so far in this session, not having the best of stations so far this season. Now through the right and left-hander then goes Bartosz Kloss, as they'll now make their way down towards hairpin. After the turn then goes Kloss before making his way towards the triple left-hander now then. As his teammate, as mentioned, up in 11th, currently in the pits at this point in time, along with a few other cars. As speaking, in fact, his teammates just come out onto the track now. Then, so Roberto Gamba now out on the racetrack. Perfect timing that was on my end. As meantime, Jose Federic Suto improves to go up into 16th, getting in front of Andrea Videri, so the Slovakian driver up into 16th position. And so an improvement there. Currently 14th and 16th so far for the 2 Williams drivers of Griffiths and Suto. As Gamba makes his way down towards the hairpin. That's out of the hairpin, then goes Roberto Gamba before he makes his way to the double left-handers. Perinin comes out on the track side by side with one of the AlphaTauri drivers. Not sure which AlphaTauri driver that was. They just came side by side with there. I believe that looks like Proxy. He's just come out behind. These two competing in GP2 could be an omen for things to come, but we'll have to wait and see. Videri improves to get back up into 16th, so he gets back in front of Suto. Through the S's then goes Perinin and Proxiuk. Now heading down towards the hairpin, taking the car in through the right-hander. As we now look at his teammate Jake Galloway, who's just come out onto the racetrack now then in the Renault. And so Galloway now comes out on the racetrack. He'll make his way in towards the right-hander. As out of the turn then goes the Brit, who of course got a late call-up to be in the top class. But so far, you have to say so far, even though he got a late call-up, Dennis, he's actually shown some very good pace in that Renault.
Yeah, he did. Of course, he had little time to prepare, but under that circumstances, he's doing a very good job.
Yep, indeed, as he now makes his way out of that double left-hander, as he will try to catch with the cars in front of him. Well, not try to catch in front of him, because that will ruin his time, of course. But maybe try and see if he can get some slipstream from Fosbury in front of him at the moment in the Haas. He'll be hoping not to get held up, especially in that very draggy Renault that seems to give him a good effect on the straight. So whether we'll be seeing that at power tracks like Baku and Monza this season, like we saw a little bit last season, we'll have to wait and see. Joseph Willows comes out onto the racetrack, currently in 9th position behind Ento Sidanome. So he comes back out onto the racetrack looking to improve on his lap time if he can, as he flicks it out of the right-hander, as he'll soon be starting his next flying lap very, 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 very soon. So I'm going to ask you for an early prediction, Dennis, so far from the testing. Who do you think is going to win the championship this season? Do you think Lopez will retain, or do you think somebody else will win it?
Of course, the favorites are Mercedes. And yeah, Lopez is, I think, the favorite because he has the championship from last season behind him, and he doesn't have the pressure to take the championship. But Car has. That makes it a bit easier for Lopez, I would say. So yeah, I think Lopez has a good chance to win it this season again.
Yep, I would say he's probably one of the favourites as well, along with Amar Kara. And on board now with Roberto Gamba, who made a little bit of an error going through turn 2 there. He had a little bit of a wiggle coming out of the second corner there, so that's not going to help his lap time at all. And to prove that, he's 7/10 off his personal best in the first sector. So this lap has already gone down the drain for the Italian driver. Through the hairpin he goes now then. He'll make his way towards the double left-hander on the racetrack. As we now look at Ruslan Proxy, who's just come out onto the racetrack. As he comes through the turn 3 now then, before approaching. He's coming up towards behind, I believe that's Evan Byrne he's coming up behind, so he'll be hoping not to get out by him. But so far, a very good session for the Alpha Tauris, being up in 4th and 5th position. And sorry, not Byrne, Jesus Perinin. Sorry, Jesus Perinin. Speaking of Renaults, though, Jake Galloway has just improved to go up into 8th position. He gets in front of both McLaren, so he gets up into the top 8. As Lorenzo Tomaselli has now just come out onto the racetrack. And so comes out of turn 3. Just under 12 minutes to go here for the final day of pre-season testing before the start of the new season next week in Melbourne. So he's now out on the racetrack. So he's coming up behind one of the Manners, I believe that is. He'll be hoping not to get held up by the Manor during these laps, as he now makes his way towards the hairpin. So flicking the car in now then, as here is David Kupok coming out of turns 1, 2 and 3. On the track goes the German. And so both AlphaTauris now then out on the racetrack. And for David Kupok, this may be a very encouraging sign for him in the season, Dennis, given that he had a very tricky 2019 season.
Yeah, last season for him was, I would say, disappointing, apart from Australian qualifying. Yeah, this pre-season testing showing that he could have a better season this time.
Indeed, we'll have to wait and see on that, of course. And I think David will be hoping to have a better season as well and put the disappointment of 2019 behind him, like a couple of drivers last season who felt their season was a bit disappointing, as he's trying to come up to the back of the driver who he was in brief contention with for oh, whoa, what's going on here in the pit lane? As that was a bit of a wild moment there with Rosetta Martinez and the Renault and Red Bull there. I don't know what on earth was going on there, but very lucky it didn't result in a Robert Ionescu style crash.
Yeah, indeed. Very lucky that no one crashed into the pit lane entrance there. Yeah,
there was
stuff.
Actually some contact there between Tomaselli and Martinez, but luckily it didn't result in anything terrible there. Meanwhile, whilst that was happening, Lincoln Parner has actually improved to go up into 7th position. So it's 7th and 8th now then for the 2 Racing Points. And so Martinez is in the pits, lucky to not have a crash there, it must be said, with the Red Bull and the Renault either side of him. Must have been a scary experience for him to be trapped in the middle. As with just over 10 minutes to go, at this point in time, it is still Amar Khan at the top of the timing sheets. He's still on a 1 minute 29.187. I'm just going to quickly compare what that lap time was yesterday from Franco Gamba. I wonder if it is quicker or not. I'm going to have a look. And it is quicker. Massively quicker, in fact, by nearly 0.4 of a second. So a very out of the 2 days here in Turkey, Khan definitely the quickest between him and Franco Gamba. A lot of faster lap times we're seeing here today compared to yesterday. Meantime, Jared Fosbury is now on the racetrack for Haas, as he'll now make his way towards turn 4. And he'll be soon trying to see if he can start his lap. Currently down in last, 8 tenths off of Daniel Fraser. As meantime, Jose Frederic Souto has a massive improvement to go up into 13th position in the Williams. So a big improvement for the Slovakian driver. Gets in front of his teammate Jamie Griffiths in the session. So a big improvement there from the Slovakian driver, who's looking to make an impression in GP2 this season. Campana further improves but remains in 7th position. Finds himself just a couple of hundredths behind, a couple of hundredths behind Franco Gamba. Bartosz Klos has now come out onto the racetrack for Ferrari. The Polish driver back in a top class car, in fact, for the first time since 2016, I believe. I don't think he was a test driver in 2017 either. So, on the track, obviously the car's a lot different to what he drove back in 2016, but he's still hoping that he can get back in the top class one day. He is once again competing in DTM, where he has a new teammate for this season, whose name has escaped me, to be honest, who is his teammate. So, be interested to see how Klos does in 2020 in DTM, as he still looks to try and get back in the top class for the first time since 2016. Meantime, Motrin's had a big improvement. He goes up into 4th position, so a little bit more pace than what we used to with Racing Point yesterday. Motrin gets up into 4th, getting in front of his test driver teammate Lincoln Parner, and ahead of the 2 AlphaTauris of David Kupok and Ruslan Proxy, because Daniel Fraser's just come out onto the track just behind Fosbury, so that's not going to do any favours with the morale at Haas at this point in time. I don't think Fraser will want his test driver teammate holding him up in this instance. Fraser comes out of turn 4 before making his way towards the S's, flicking it in for the right, and through the left he will go as we ride on board with Fosbury. In fact, he makes his way down towards the hairpin, and now heading his way towards the triple left-hander, still trying to get a hold of Daniel Fraser, still holding up Daniel Fraser, I should say. So we have just done over 7.5 minutes to go for day 4 here in Sakia, as Fosbury makes his way towards the left-hander. As now flicking it in through the left, and then through the flat-out right-hander he will go. And I don't think his second sector is going to be an improvement. And no, it's not by a massive amount. 0.7 of a second between Fosbury, between his personal best and the lap that he's currently on at this point in time. And so currently with 7 minutes to go, this is what the leaderboard currently looks like. It's Carr at the top with Fakrazin in 2nd, Tomaselli in 3rd, Motrin in 4th, Kupok 5th, Protsuk in 6th, and Franco Gamba in 7th, Campana in 8th, and then it is Galloway in 9th, Sinanome in 10th, with Willows 11th, Roberto Gamba in 12th, Frederic Souto in 13th, with Klos in 14th, Griffiths 15th, Perrin in 16th, Videri in 17th, and then it is Titkov in 18th, Faldinger 19th, Martinez in 20th, Fraser 21st, and Fosbury in 22nd position. And whilst I was talking there, Motrin makes a slight improvement, but remains in 4th position, finds himself 0.747 behind Amar Khan at this stage, with just over 6.5 minutes to go, as Fosbury's coming back into the pit. So luckily for Fraser, he's not going to get held up by his test driver teammate for much longer. Now through the S's they go now, then through the right and left, and Fosbury was up on his personal best in the first sector there, but it doesn't matter because he's coming into the pits this lap, as Hento Sinanome in the McLaren has just come out onto the racetrack just behind his teammate for today, Joseph Willows. So out on the track goes the Japanese driver, currently having the pace of Willows so far in this testing session. Whether Willows will have any response to that in the closing minutes, we'll have to wait and see. Sinanome on a fresh set of mediums out on the racetrack. Fosbury coming around the left-hander. He'll be peeling off into the pits very, very soon. Flat out through the right-hander he will go now then before making his way towards the second to last corner. He was still up on his personal best in the second sector, but again, don't matter because Fosbury's coming into the pits this lap. Q-Pot meanwhile has improved but remains in 5th position. He finds himself 0.917 behind Amar Kar at this stage, so a good improvement there for the German, who people were calling the next Florian Volker last season, and I don't think we wanting that in the back of it. Seemed to give him some bad luck when people started calling him that, which yeah, that's that really. Meantime, Franco Gamba has improved to go up into 4th position behind his test driver teammate Tomaselli. So up into 4th goes Tomaselli's fellow compatriot Franco Gamba. Martinez improves but remains in 20th, so we're seeing some more lap times starting to come in the closing stages of today's test with 5 minutes to go. And through the right-hander then goes Daniel Fraser with the messed up helmet. That should be fixed in time for Melbourne, along with the messed up helmet that Franco Gamba has. So those 2 helmets should be sorted out before the start of the season, as Fraser's actually up on his personal best in the first sector, speaking of him, by nearly 300ths of a second. The hairpin he goes. Here is Roberto Gamba back out on the track, probably for the last time today, as the Italian comes out on the racetrack before heading towards turn 4. So in through the right-hander then goes the Italian, as now makes his way towards the S's very, very soon. Through the right and then into the left-hander will go the Italian, now making his way into the hairpin, as he'll soon be starting his final few laps of testing. Currently in 12th position ahead of teammate Kloss. Not been the best of days so far for Ferrari. It doesn't look like it's going to be improving. Not a good omen for them, it has to be said, as the season approaches. The new season approaches, of course, as Roberto makes his way towards the left-hander. Out of the pit lane goes Amar Kar, looking to see if he can try and potentially break into the 1 minute 28 before the session comes to a close. But whether he will or not, it's probably going to be a bit of an ask if you ask me. But you never know. Anything can happen in these remaining few minutes. To the right-hander goes Amar Kar. Martinez slightly improves but still remains in 20th position. Still over 2 seconds behind Amar Kar. Not able to get underneath 2 seconds at this point in time. Or even Harry Bentz Faldinger or even Maxim Titkov in front of him at the moment. As Sinanome improves massively to go up into 4th position. And the McLaren showing some very good pace. Hento Sinanome getting up into 4th position. So maybe some encouraging signs for McLaren ahead of the season. We'll have to wait and see, as this looks like they finally turned up the wick for 2020. We'll have to wait and see if that's still if that becomes a reality, as we look at Jared Fosbury, who's come out onto the track for the final time, looking to see if he can get out a last before the session comes to a close, I should say. As they come out of the S's before heading down towards hairpin. He's got Ruslan Proxy currently behind him at this point in time. Proxy running a Jean-Eric Verne helmet when he's doing testing duties. So here is Lorenzo Tomaselli coming back into the pits. That's his testing session done with. So currently looking like he's going to finish in the top 3 unless other drivers improve in these closing few seconds. As David Cupot comes out for one final time in the Alpha Tauri, looking to see if he can get himself back up into the top 4. Cupot now then will make his way towards the S's, flicking it in through the left, then through the right, and then through the left again. As now making their way down towards the hairpin. As meantime, Fosbury currently holding up Protsuyuk. In fact, is Protsuyuk going to get by into the final corner? Yes, he does. So Protsuyuk shouldn't be affected afterwards. Down the straight, Fosbury though probably getting a bit of switching. Although having said that, it didn't really matter if that Alpha Tauri got past there, because it's gone back into the pits. Whoever Protsuyuk that was, so a bit pointless there. Franco Gamba comes out on the track for one final time to see if he can get above teammate Tomaselli and get himself above higher than 5th position. The man who obviously topped day 3 yesterday, but at the moment it doesn't look like he's going to top today's session unless he performs a miracle on his final flying lap. We'll have to wait and see. It is a bit of an ask to claw back nearly 7 tenths, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. 1.5 minutes to go now then in this session, as Gamba makes his way out of the hairpin before heading his way towards the double left-hander now then. So Fakrazin comes out on the track, but I think it's a little bit too late for him. It looks like he's just going to be collecting mileage. So it doesn't look like that Fakrazin is going to be topping the session. It looks like Carl's going to be the quickest out of the two Mercedes today. The right-hander goes Fakrazin just to get a little bit of mileage for the Brackley-based team. As they hope to defend both their championships yet again this season before we head off into the fantasy area, where who knows if the Mercedes is still going to be competitive when we get into the fantasy area. It all really depends how the whole system kicks in, really. They might still be at the top, they might not be. We'll have to wait and see. Coming out of the double left-hander goes Rifki Fakrazin. He makes his way down the straight now then. If Mercedes are out on the racetrack with just a few more seconds to go on the clock. Joseph Frederick Suto just had enough time there to set a lap time. And I wonder who's going to be last across the line. Fosbury able to improve, but still behind teammate Fraser. As we enter the final few seconds. Here comes Roberto Gamba. Across the line he goes. And he does not improve, remains where he is. Willows doesn't improve either. Here comes Jesus Perinin. He's on improvement, and he goes up to 12. A big improvement there from the Spaniard. Here comes Bartosz Klos with a few seconds to go. Across the line, does not improve, remains where he is at this point in time. Here comes Jamie Griffiths. Can he do enough to get one more lap in? I don't think he will. It looks like Klos. He's going to be last one to cross the line. And nope, Griffiths, this is his last lap, and he does not improve. So Klos is the last one to cross the line. Fakrazin, as expected, didn't make it in time. Here comes David Kupok. Across the line he goes in the AlphaTauri. And across the line will go the German, and he does not improve. As here comes Maxim Titkov. Across the line he goes, and he remains in 18th position. Faldinger doesn't look like he's on improvement as he makes his way out of the final turn. Onto the pit straight goes the Hungarian. And is Faldinger, going to be able to find some miracle in the last sector? I don't think he will, but let's see. Across the line he goes, and no, remains where he is. Carr got held up and doesn't improve. Galloway doesn't improve either. Fraser coming out the final turn, it looks like he's going to remain in 21st. It looks like he's going to be 21st and 22nd for Haas, so not a good day in the office for the American team. Fraser coming across the line in the Haas. Let's just see. Anyway, across the line, and nope, doesn't improve, remains in 21st position. Here comes Franco Gamba with his messed up helmet, which will hopefully get fixed for Melbourne. He's on improvement, and he goes up to 4th, but not able to beat Tomaselli. That's that for him then. Frederick Suto doesn't improve. Here comes Fosbury. Can he improve on his lap across the line? He will now go. And does he improve? And no, he doesn't. Nor does Motrin. He got held up. Roberto Gamba is coming into the pits. Here comes Joseph Willows on his lap. As Fosbury did improve, in fact. But still, it looks like he's going to remain in last. So 21st and 22nd for Haas as a result. Willows does not improve. Perrin, meanwhile, can he get one more improvement in? No, remains in 12th. Here comes Klos, the last driver to cross the line. And the Polish driver, can he find a miracle in the last sector? And no, he can't. Remains in 15th position. And that is testing completed with Carr, Fakrazin and Tomaselli being your top three. So, what did you make of that final day overall, Dennis?
Yeah, good day. The office for some teams. Mercedes would look very strong. Also, it was a good day for AlphaTauri and Williams. And yeah, not good showing from... Was it Ferrari, I think? But that was a bit expected, and Haas. And yeah, let's see what season brings.
Yeah, indeed, not a good showing for those two teams. Well, that is it, not just from day 4, but also from the 2020 preseason test. They are all the tests done with, and I hope you've enjoyed it over the last 4 days, of course. But we will be back, of course, next week for the start of the new season, the Australian Grand Prix. But that's not the only thing that's happening next week, because also next week we have the GP2 preseason test that will be happening at Jerez and Silverstone. So look out for that. And of course, with the brand new liveries as well, it's looking to be hopefully an exciting season for GP2 as well. But that has been it then, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. So thank you all for watching. I've been JW97. He's been Dennis Graff. And we will see you next week for the start of the new season at the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne. Till then, take care.
Bye, have a great time.